Hi, welcome once again to our second part of our mobile application development, particularly on the login component, which we have already created from our stateful widget. But this time, what we're going to do is when we type our email here from the text field, it has to be passed on another screen, which is our detail page. And what we're going to do is basically there are two options to work with, but this time since we started doing it in using a stateless widget, right? So probably we could also compare later if you have created it in stateful widget. Okay, so without further ado, let's now start working on our user details screen. And the moment that we have entered some information of our email text field and password, it will go into display over there. Okay, so we're now here to our details stateless widget components. And it's a detail, yeah, because I have a details dart there. So basically we already started this leading property. Probably if we could add on here some back color, right, so that we could see the color highlight of our up bar there. So we'll just use the colors widgets, and say for example we'll just make it like a blue accent over there. So if I save this one, let's see whether it works now. So I have to reload for this. Okay, if I click login over there, so the color of our blue light accents over there, right? So just continuing on our part of our user details, what we're going to do is now, of course, we're going to work with our body. So perhaps we have here a body, a property, and this body property will going to be after the up bar. So of course we'll just make a container widget over here, and probably we'll just set the padding, and this padding will going to be edge insets all about 20 pixels there. And this time we'll now include some child property, and this time we're going to use the list view widget. And this list view widget will going to have a children, so that we could insert list style within this array of children. Okay, so probably later we will going to set some property over here, but this time we can just go straight from the list style, since we have only say a couple of displays that will display what we have typed in the user field text and then the password. So we'll just put a tile color over here probably, and we'll just use any color will do, and this will be colors maybe about cyan. We'll use cyan, or probably okay, we'll just make it another color, because the color light blue accent is pretty much the same there. Probably like a lime. Okay, and say for example we have a leading property here, and inside the leading we're going to use some icon. So as we could, this icon widget, we could use an icon's material that would be, say for example, a very common ad business. This is your email that will appear later here, and let's put a title on it. Of course, this will going to be a text widget, and this would be our okay, we'll just leave it for now as an empty one, because we will going to include later our user strings that we have typed it from the previous screen. Okay, so probably I could just copy the list style once again here, and probably we could just complete later the property of this text. We could put some style on it so that we'll not be typing it anymore once again, and text style, and let's just put some font size probably, or color will be colors, let's say let's put it a white color of the text, and example for the font size will be 20, right? So we will going to capture this one, the whole thing, the list style, and don't forget to put some comma over here, and we will just replicate this one so quickly. And instead of probably add business here, this will going to be a password. I think there's also a password icon data there. Yeah, there is. And we'll just also use the password string that will going to be pass or push to over this component on our detail.dart. Okay, so I think we're good. If I will going to save this one, hot reload, we can see now, of course, this will going to be there's an icon that is the lime color there, and whenever we're typing over here, it will be supposed to be appeared on this field over here. Okay, so there you go. So this time what we're going to do, we have to work with some variables over here later, because if you remember in our login page, okay, so we are returning to a detail widget, which is we have imported on the top here, the detail.dart. So what we are going to do is we will alright, so we were going to create now a passing parameter somewhere in our login, which is we have used the detail, particularly in our login page. So in this login dart return detail, it has to be passed in the detail, and of course we have already imported that detail dart. But before we do that passing parameters over here, we have to back to our detail dart stateless widget, and we need to set a final string over here, so that this declaration of our string, which is our user and password, will going to be the global variable that will be sent through another screen. But moreover, there will be an error could come on your constant detail here, which means we need to add on this user and password within this super key of details constant. So by doing that one, we can now insert this a required parameter here that will mention that this user should be mentioned there as, I think it has to be also a string, but later we will capture that one. Another one is with the required this password as well, right? So password, which we have declared as a string, but of course this will going to be dynamically. Okay, this is mistake there. So this is now what we're going to work with, and perhaps later we can also apply now here the passing data to be displayed in our text widget, and this is the user, right? But we have to remove this single quote, and this one is the password. Similarly, we have to remove this single quote. Okay, so we'll just save this one, and we have to go back to our login. Within our login, this detail should be completed now, because we have already declared it inside the detail.dart. So this time they are now allowing us to work with the user, and our user will going to be underscore mail, right? Dot text, and the other one is password, which is that's a string that we have globally declared from the detailed Dart stateless widget, and this will be underscore password, and this is our controller, which we have declared as a text editing within this login stateful widget. There you go, mail and password. Okay, so let's see if this works. Let's save this one, and perhaps if this works, we might be seeing the passing data on this return material page routes within the builder property. And suppose we will going to enter, let's bring it back to the home page. Let's say I will just type it Hansel de los Santos at utahs.edu.om, and let's say my password is 12345678990. If I send this one to another detail page, and yeah, now it works. So only the problem is the yellow background on the white font foreground color. It's not readable, but at least now it's appearing here. I can still change the color of this from our detail part, and yeah, it was white. Maybe we could do it as black, right? Okay, black. And same thing also with this, would be black, because it's not readable, and our back color is lime accent. Okay, all right, there you go. Now it's readable. So at least we're now seeing that how we could pass data coming from our form, and of course our form was login.dart, and within this login.dart, what we do is we have declared underscore mail and password as final text editing controller, and of course within our text boxes or text field, we have assigned as well those given controllers, which is the mail and the password. And within our elevated button widget, which is this one, which is the login, we also use the navigator, which is pushing that particular context to open up a material page router, so that the passing parameter of the detail stateless widget, basically we're going to send to that another page. This user and password was declared within the detail.dart as a global declaration, and along with the final string user password. So we just added this required as a constant detail because we have added this couple of variable, and of course with this text widget we have printed them here. If this would be with regards to a stateless widget, what if we have done a stateful widget? So I have a given example here in the details.dark, and this one was written in a stateful widget. So it's all similar. The global declaration is also the same. Even of course from the login perspective is also same passing parameter, but only the difference in printing when it comes to a stateful widget. If I just write a user here, this will come as an error, so which means it has to be included a widget, right? So this widget will going to declare it's a framework from Dart, and this will going to like a state of configuration that the stateful widget instance is properly initiated in this framework. Why? Because this a property that will refer to a new widget will going to call the widget basically, and it was amended to work with the dynamic component, which is the stateful widget. So this is only the small difference between printing them on stateless widget will going to be as simple as straight from the name of the string itself, right, which is the user, which you have declared also there as a user and password final string. But when it comes to a stateful widget, you can see a stateful widget is there, right? So you have to call it in a widget.user and widget.password. Right, so this time we have already concluded that we have completed the part 2 of our login. Soon we might be completing only probably a registration. Once that we're done with the registration, we might be moving now to the next chapter, so using our cloud connections. Okay, so bye bye for now.